Okay, so I am recording now. So I'm going to reintroduce myself. My name is Valerie Van Boeven. I'm a registered nurse and the co-owner of LTC Expert Publications. My business partner is George Novison. And you guys are listening to the Home Care Revenue Builders monthly webinar. It's my turn this month, and so since we are the online portion of training for Home Care Revenue Builders, and many of you are our clients already, what we're going to talk about today is something that I think is a little bit misunderstood. I'm going to say a lot of information pretty fast. So that's why I'm going to send out the replay on a YouTube video for everybody to watch. At the end of the presentation, I will have questions. So if you have any questions, you might want to jot them down. The way we take questions, because we tend to have a lot of people on these calls, is by typing them in. So if you do have a question anytime, you don't have to wait till the end. You can type it into your little questions area there on your little dashboard that you have. So with that, let's get started. So we're going to talk about backlinks for your home care website. We're going to talk about what are backlinks, why are they important, can you rank your website on the first page of Google without them, how do you get more backlinks. I'm going to show you some examples with some pictures that are pretty interesting, and what are other SEO factors that matter. So LTC Expert Publications is all about content, search engine optimization, and getting you to the first page of Google. And backlinks are part of what we do, but there are 1,000 other things that matter too. So we just thought we'd take this one little piece and talk about it today. So what are backlinks? Backlinks are incoming links to a web page. When a web page links to any other page, it's called a backlink. In the past, backlinks were the major metric for ranking of a web page. A page with lots of backlinks tends to rank higher with all major search engines, including Google. And so we're going to talk about some common terms that are associated with the word backlinks. So link juice, we hear that a lot. And if you're not a web geek like me, it's hard to remember all this stuff. You don't have to remember it, but just have a general knowledge of it is really important. So link juice. When a web page links to any of your articles or your website's homepage, it passes link juice. So if the New York Times links to your website, that's huge. And that would be an awesome thing to have happen. It doesn't happen to us very often, but it would be great because the New York Times, of course, has tons of credibility and authority according to Google. So if it links to your page, it's passing link juice, and that gives your website a ton of credibility and authority. This link juice helps with the ranking of the article and also improves your domain authority, meaning it makes your importance of your domain in the eyes of Google go higher. As a blogger or as a website owner, you can stop passing link juice by using a no-follow tag. So let's say you have a resource page on your website, and many of you do. You want to list all the local and national resources, which, by the way, is not necessary, but if you insist on that, then that is okay. But you need to make sure that those links are no-follow links. When a website like yours links to another website, but the link has a no-follow tag, and that's something behind the scenes that you can't see, that link does not pass link juice. So while the New York Times can afford to give you some link juice, you all, being a small player in the world of websites, cannot afford to pass much link juice. That's why we encourage you not to have resources pages. You really don't need them. It's okay. It doesn't really hurt that much, but you know, you are the resource, so people should be calling you for that information. No-follow links are not useful concerning the ranking of a page, as they do not contribute anything. In general, a webmaster uses the no-follow tag, meaning behind the scenes, when he is linking out to an unreliable site. Okay, so in other words, if you are also linking out to sites where you're not sure if that website or that business is going to be around 5 years from now or 2 years from now, or you're not really sure about it, but it does have something valuable that you want to link to, then you might want to make sure that your link is a no-follow link, so that if that website goes away, it doesn't hurt you, or if it's tagged as an unreliable site by Google, it won't hurt you. So these are some of the things that your webmaster probably takes into consideration, but it's just important to kind of know the differences between a no-follow link and a do-follow link. A do-follow link. By default, all the links that you add in a blog post are do-follow links, and these pass link juice. So If we put up an article on your website or a page on your website, and it has some content in it, and it has a link to another, to like maybe the source of the article or something like that, that's okay. Unless we tag it as a no-follow link, it's called a do-follow link. And do-follow links pass the link juice. In some cases, that's appropriate, especially if you're citing a source in your article. That's perfectly appropriate, but you just don't want to have tons of links going away from your site. You want to have people stay on your site for the most part. Linking root domains. This refers to the number of backlinks coming to your website from a unique domain. Even if a website has linked to your website 10 times, it would be considered as the one linked root domain. I'm going to show you an example of that in a minute. So if you were to get some links from the New York Times, like let's say New York Times / old age blog linked to your site, you're really only getting a root domain link from the New York Times, even though the page is / old age blog. So low quality links, and this is the biggest problem that I see most of our clients having, and it's usually from some mistakes that have been made in the past by prior web developers, prior SEO people, and that's having low quality links. Low quality links are links that come from harvested sites, automated sites, spam sites, or even porn sites. Such links do far more harm than good. This is the one reason you should be careful when buying backlinks. Careful is not even the right word. You should never buy backlinks. Never, 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 never buy backlinks. So if someone has told you that they bought backlinks for you, or they're going to give you a backlinking service, and you ask them how, and they say, well, we're going to buy backlinks for you, you need to run away quick, because low quality links like that are typically going to destroy your ranking of your website. Sometimes we run across a site that has been completely de-indexed by Google. And the reason that has happened is because in the past, that website has been abused and no one knows it. So a prior SEO person, a prior web developer, someone who thought they were super smart, went out and bought tons of backlinks that are now invalid or on shady websites, and so your website is now penalized. And there are ways to see if that has happened, and there are ways to correct it, but the reality is it's a long haul, a long process, and a lot of work. You'd almost, and not in every case, but in a lot of cases, you'd be better off starting over with a new website domain name. And as much as people hate doing that, sometimes that is the very best thing to do if you are completely, what we call in the geek world, sandboxed, and you have no chance of ever ranking for anything. But that doesn't happen very often. We've seen it once or twice in the history of our business when someone has come to us with a website that has just been pretty much destroyed by someone who worked for them previously. Internal links. This is important too. Internal links, links that are going from one page to another within the same domain, are called internal links, and the process itself is referred to internal linking. So with our clients, you would see at the bottom of every website or every blog post that we do, if you scroll to the bottom, usually there's a final sentence there that says, if you or an aging loved one are considering in-home care services in the Los Angeles area, please contact blah, 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 home care agency at blah, 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 blah. And somewhere in that sentence, we link Home Care Los Angeles to another page on your website. And the reason we do that is because you need some internal linking. So when I say Home Care in Los Angeles, I usually would link to your services page, because that's where you talk about all of your home care services that you provide in the city of Los Angeles. So we do some internal linking with each blog post, but we don't overdo it. We only do it one time with one keyword phrase. So that's important to know too. Anchor text. Anchor text is a text that's used to hyperlink to some other place. So anchor text backlinks are great when you're trying to rank for particular keywords. You have to be very careful about this. Internal linking, you can link from any, so the word home care in Los Angeles would be the anchor text, and if you click on that text goes to the services page. And that's okay. You're linking internally to your stuff on your own website. However, if you were to go out and let's say buy 1,000 backlinks, which you should never do, and you told the person who was doing those backlinks that every time they backlink to your website from all these 1,000 other websites, that you want it to be the keyword phrase home care Los Angeles. So all these other bad, shady sites are backlinking to your website with the keyword phrase home care Los Angeles. Well, that's a no, no, no. And because now Google will say, okay, you're spamming word phrase home care Los Angeles, so now we are not going to rank you at all for the keyword phrase home care Los Angeles. Goodbye. And you may rank for senior care Los Angeles, but you'll never rank for the keyword phrase home care Los Angeles. So you have to be careful about your anchor text. What's normal with anchor text is having anchor text that says view our website or read more here. Those kinds of things are completely normal anchor text when you're linking from one website to another website. So why are backlinks important? They improve organic ranking. Backlinks help in getting better search engine rankings. If any of your content is getting organic links from other sites, that content will naturally rank higher with search engines. Your goal should be to create links to individual posts and pages along with your home page. So if you do get a link back to your site, or you know you have an opportunity for somebody out there to link to your site, you're not just directed to the home page all the time. You want some of your backlinks to go to internal pages on your website, and that will help you also tremendously. Another reason that backlinks are important, faster indexing of your site. So backlinks help search engine bots to discover links to your site and crawl your site effectively, especially for a new website. It's important to get backlinks as they help in the faster discovery and indexing of your site. So if you don't have any backlinks, it's really hard to rank. If you have some backlinks, that's great, especially if you're in a really competitive market. And I'm going to show you what that looks like for the keyword phrase home care Los Angeles in just a minute. When Google indexes, let's say, my website, Home Care Daily, and they see a link to your website and your website's brand new, well, that's great because now they say, okay, we also have to link this, index this other website that Valerie's homecaredaily.com website's linking to. So they go to your website and index it again. So all the backlinks help you get more discoverability. Referral traffic. So the other thing that backlinks do, like say that your blog post there's a link to it on Facebook. People will click on that link and they'll go back to your website. So one of the major benefits of backlinks is that they help get referral traffic. Usually referral traffic is targeted and has a low bounce rate. So referral traffic is going to come to you from places like Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, Pinterest, other websites that may have referenced your link. We see a lot of, on some of our national sites that we run, we see a lot of people on Twitter referring to the article that was just posted and saying that this is a good read, and then other people will click on it, and so we're getting referral traffic. Google wants to see engagement. So the more people are clicking on links and they're going back to your website, that's awesome. So engagement really helps, and that's why referral traffic is important. Okay, so this is a long, long string of text, but I want you to know something important. Can your website rank without backlinks? While it is possible to rank without backlinks, you're going to have a difficult time trying, especially if you're hoping to rank for a competitive keyword. So if you're in South Florida and you're trying to rank for home care Palm Beach, Florida, that is one of the most competitive markets. Home Care San Diego would be another example. Anywhere where you have a large metro area or in the Sun Belt where you have a large group of seniors, you're always going to have home care be an extremely competitive word. Google still sees quality backlinks as a sign of authority, and obtaining them should still be an important element of your SEO strategy. There are 2 times when it's possible to rank well without backlinks. Number 1 is if you're attempting to rank for a unique keyword, one that no one uses, or phrase, when there's little competition and ranking, that way ranking becomes much easier. So if you want to rank for tiny little widgets in West Winnemucca, Nevada, if that's the keyword phrase you're looking for, then it's probably pretty easy to do even without backlinks. But Home Care Los Angeles is going to be exponentially harder. It's possible for individual pages to rank well without backlinks, as long as the site as a whole has several backlinks and is already seen as an authority within Google, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. This is common in large and well-known websites, particularly media websites, like, for example, the New York Times, that would not have backlinks immediately upon publication. While acquiring backlinks would certainly help, they aren't always necessary in this case to rank. So if your website is super popular in the world, you have less worries about backlinking because you've already done it, and it's a huge website and it's trusted by Google. So most of us aren't Drudge, most of us aren't the New York Times or Huffington Post or any of those. So we are going to have to work on backlinking. Most of us don't live in West Winnemucca, Nevada, so we are going to have to work on backlinking. So how do you get backlinks? And that is the trick. So there's a few ways to do it. None of them are easy, but some of them are easier than others. So write awesome articles for other websites. Now, if you are our client and you are in our SEO program, then you know that you have articles on other websites already. We have the Approved Senior Network, which covers topics like Alzheimer's care and reducing hospital readmission rates and many other things, home care safety, or safety in the home for seniors, it's all kinds of stuff. So we already have you with backlinks to your website on a national site and also on a local site that is not yours. But that's not going to carry you far, 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 far. We do what we can, but you also need to work on some of that too. The best way to do that is to write an article and have it placed on another website. There are tons of elder care websites out there that would love to have good content, and it's easy for you to, you're not writers, we get it. You can have somebody write the article for you, ghostwrite it for you, and place it on another website. You can write awesome articles for your website. If you are a client, you know that you already have some content that's put on your website every single week. And when you contribute content, that's even better. So that kind of, if you have a service like ours that's engaged with you, you already have this being done. Start commenting. So you can start commenting on websites like care.com, caring.com, I don't know, whatever elder care websites, you can Google them. There's a million of them out there. If they have a forum section, you can go in and comment. I wouldn't go in and pay somebody to comment randomly and spam a bunch of websites. You can buy anything on Fiverr.com, but that doesn't mean it's any good. You want to pick and choose the websites that you're commenting on, and you want to make sure you can leave your URL or your website address there for people to find more information about you. So start commenting. Submit to web directories. And this isn't just any web directory. You need to research those web directories and make sure they have a good presence and that Google trusts them. If you just go willy-nilly and pay somebody to submit your website to 5,000 directories, that could hurt you much more than it could help you. So only submit your website to web directories that are valid and that are useful. Okay, so we're going to look at some examples real quick. And if you have any questions, by the way, go ahead and type them into the questions area, and I will answer them when we're all done here. So home care agencies. So I did a Google search, and I'm sitting in St. Louis, Missouri. I just put in home care Los Angeles. And after the paid results, which are way at the top, then you have your map, and then you have, whoops, that doesn't help, and then you have your top 4 right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are your top 4 organic results. So Home Instead is number 1, 24-hour home care is number 2, Home Watch Caregivers is number 3, and Mom's Home Care is number 4. So this is a good mix because here we have a huge franchise website, and then we have a medium-sized franchise website and kind of a big franchise website, and then we have a one-off, and that means an independent person who is not part of a franchise. So that's good to see. So we're going to look at each of these and talk about them. So if we were to look at homeinstead.com and look at how many backlinks they have, now this is for their entire network. This isn't just for that page or that one franchise location, because Home Instead has such a gigantic website, and they have so many franchise owners, and they have worked extremely hard on this. And I will tell you, they even have their own websites that rank really high that are not, that you would not know are owned by Home Instead. So they've worked a lot on this. So this is a huge franchise. They have 31.8 thousand web total backlinks. They have 1,000 or 1.4 thousand referring domains. That means other websites referring back to them. And they have 1.1 thousand referring IP addresses. So that means that their backlinks are not all clumped in one place or on one website. They are all over the place, and this is a fabulous representation. So, and you can see over on the right-hand side how many backlinks they have for different kinds of websites. So they have 24 .edu website backlinks. They have 65 .net, 65 .ca, which is Canada, 290 .org, and 898 domains that are .com. They also have some .gov here. So export.gov is, I don't know what that's about, but that has, they have 2 backlinks on that site, and that's pretty huge. And the domain score for these they have also dmoz.org. So these 2 are extremely high ranked in the eyes of Google, and they have backlinks on them. So this is one of those things where you could hire a full-time person to do nothing but get you backlinks. You could hire them to do it for a month, and then you could hire them back like once every 6 months to do it for you and update that. That is what the kind of that's the kind of work it takes. This is a huge amount of work. So we don't expect you to be a Home Instead, though, because you don't have time for that, and they have an entire staff dedicated to that. So let's go to the next one. This is 24-hour cares. Now, I think they're a small franchise. They're not a huge, huge franchise, maybe middle of the road. I know I've met them before, but I haven't done a huge amount of research. So they are also on the first page of Google, and they are number 2 on that list of Home Care Los Angeles, and they only have 268 backlinks, 56 referring domains, and 63 IP addresses. So that is a good mix. But what you can't see here, and what's important to know, is that these 268 backlinks are on some pretty good websites. So our archrespite.org has a high domain score. So they've worked pretty hard on getting some really good backlinks. So this is a smaller franchise, and they have done some good work. And, of course, they have an office right in Los Angeles, so that helps too, proximity. And they've been around a long time, and they have good content on their website. So that really helps. So they've done a good job with their backlinking strategy, even though it's much smaller. HomeWatch Caregivers, they are another large franchise, maybe not as large as Home Instead, but definitely on the long lines of a big franchise. And they have 5.8 thousand website total backlinks to homewatchcaregivers.com, 334 referring domains, and 332 referring IPs. So they have also worked hard on this. And there was a time when they hadn't worked hard on some of this stuff, and they were having a hard time getting to the first page of Google, but I can see that they've done a lot of work. And you can see here too, they have 5.6 thousand of those backlinks are follow links, and only 154 are no follow links. So this is a really good place to be, and of course they can do better, but like I said, it's a lot of hard work. So this is the independent home care agency that you saw there. This is the fourth person on the first page of Google, and they have a total of 171 backlinks, 16 referring domains, and 13 referring IPs, which is a good number. And 171 total backlinks doesn't sound too high, but they probably have some good backlinks. They've definitely worked on it a little bit. But I took a look at their website. It is a WordPress website, and they do have a lot of really good content on it. So there's other things that matter besides backlinks, but I can tell you that they've worked on this a bit. So content is really another key to this. So this just kind of gives you an idea from a smaller mom and pop shop that's not a franchise all the way up to a huge franchise, the kind of work that they've put in on backlinking. So let's talk about other SEO factors, and be sure to type your questions in, and I will take them at the end here. Other SEO factors are quality, unique content or blog posting every single week without fail. You can do it more than one time per week. Syndicating your content. That means, and this is what we do for our clients, we provide them with that quality, unique content every week, and then we syndicate that content for them, meaning we send that content out. It just doesn't stay on their blog. It can't stay there. It has to go out to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Google Plus if possible. There's all kinds of places it needs to go. So syndicating your content is important. Get it out there so your local community will find it. Social media engagement is important. So if someone sees your article on Facebook and they click on it and they go back to your website, Google sees that as engagement. If they like your article, if they comment on your article, all these things are engagement. Engagement from your e-newsletter. So if you are our client and you know that you have a monthly newsletter that goes out, that newsletter in and of itself is a little website address. So you want to make sure that people are not only do you have a good amount of contacts to send that newsletter to, but that they are all, you can see that they're clicking on different articles, they're scrolling through, they're finding a title they want to read, they click on it, they're sent right back to your website, and that's really important. Site structure is also important. If your site is screwed up on the back end, or it's too hard for Google to read, or it's breaking the rules somehow, or it just doesn't work right, then Google's not going to like that. Google-specific tags and HTML markups, this is all geek speak, but on the back end of your website, you should have all the structural pieces intact to make sure Google knows exactly what it's looking at, what it's reading, and then it will give your website more prevalence if it can read it easily. SEO of the static pages of your website. So search engine optimization means making sure the keyword phrases are there, your location, and Google knows where you are and what you do. So the static pages of your website are pages like the About Us page and our Services page. Those pages don't change very much at all. So it's important that you have good search engine optimization of those pages. Your blog posts are not static pages. They're added all the time. But your static pages are the ones that just don't change very often. And then getting rid of bad SEO practices. So if you were to look back at the history of your website, your URL, your website address, and you can see all the backlinks that it's ever had. If you wanted to, you could find a place on Google to do that. And if you know that someone in the past has really run amok with their SEO practices and they've practiced on you maybe, and they have looked at backlinks and bought them for you and done all kinds of stuff, they could be, even now, today, even if they did it 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they could be jeopardizing the situation for your website. So those are the kinds of things that you want to take a look at. They may not even exist, or companies may not even be in business, or they may be a single person who, just was doing it on the side, and bad SEO practices are going to hurt you for years to come. So you need to make sure you get rid of bad backlinks and anything else that might be on your website. So my final piece of advice is this. When it comes to SEO, there are no shortcuts at all. There is no way that you can go from zero to first page without a lot of hard work. Quality content optimized by a knowledgeable company wins every time. So when you are hiring someone to help you with your website, if you are not a franchise owner and you're an independent person who has to make all of these decisions, your local SEO guy, just because he belongs to the Chamber of Commerce, doesn't mean he's the right fit for a home care agency. Please be careful and make sure you hire folks that know the home care industry and know what's going on. So I have a couple of questions. Number one, how do you know Google trusts certain web directories? What I do is I look for reputable web directories that have lots of, I can tell by running some of the tests on the back end of our, for SEMrush and some of the other things, I can tell which ones are trusted web directories and which ones are not. In other words, if they show up readily on the internet, they're probably pretty good. If they are ones that someone says that they'll get you 1,000 web directory backlinks, I wouldn't trust that at all if I don't know which ones they are. But I can also send out a list of reputable web directories when I send out the recording. So I'll put a link to a list on with the recording. Is it necessary to pay Google Ads to get on the first page? No, it's not. You're probably on the first page of Google for a lot of things. You do not have to pay Google. Organic results and paid results do not mix. So you can pay and use AdWords. We have, but it has no bearing on your organic search. So just because you have AdWords doesn't mean you're also going to be on the first page naturally. And if you don't have AdWords, you certainly can be on the first page naturally. The two do not mix. Google would be in huge trouble for that. So they do not mix at all. So yes, you can be on the first page of Google without running Google AdWords. And if I were to give advice on AdWords, I would tell you this. For Google AdWords, this is for the home care industry only, and no one else is going to tell you this because, of course, they want you to run Google AdWords and spend tons of money. So here's what I'm going to tell you. This is home care agency only. It doesn't apply to roofers or plumbers or lawyers or anybody who sells T-shirts. This is for home care only. Google AdWords is not necessarily a good fit for home care. No matter what way you slice it, it is not a good fit. And the reason I say that is because we've tried it 1,000 times over with many different organizations, with many different experts. We have investigated it. We've sunk our own money into learning whether or not this is viable, and it's not. And here is the rationale for that. If you have $1,000 a month to spend on Google AdWords, it's the 80-20 rule for home care. $800 of that $1,000 will be spent on people clicking on your ads who are looking for employment. $200 of that $1,000 is going to be spent by people who really do need help, perhaps, but there, as you all know, sometimes leads don't close overnight. There are people who are in crisis and need help right now, and there are people who know it's coming and they search for 6 months until the crisis hits, or they sit on it. So there are $200 of money that's each month that of your 1,000 they'll actually be allocated to people who actually need care, because your employment seekers, no matter how you spin it, no matter what negative keywords you put in, no matter what you do, $800 of that typically is going to go toward employment seekers. If you can afford that budget, you can afford that 80-20 rule, by all means, I would say use AdWords if you'd like. But and if you scale it down, let's say you only have a $300 a month budget for AdWords, you're talking about $10 a day. And one click can sometimes cost $5. So you're getting 2 clicks a day. And so typically speaking, the percentages get even worse the smaller your budget is. So if you're at $300 a day, you may have, 5 clicks that are really people seeking care, and the other clicks are all going to employment seekers. So AdWords is not necessarily a good fit for home care, and that's just my opinion. Maybe a really dumb question, but if you comment on a forum of another site, could you leave your Facebook link instead of your URL? Yes, you can leave your Facebook link, but you really should you don't want to give Facebook any extra credit. You want to give your website extra credit. So I'm not sure why you would want to leave your Facebook URL, because you should have a valid website and you should want to drive traffic to your website, not to Facebook. Facebook has all the traffic it needs. Your website is the place where people are going to interact with you. They're going to pick up the phone and call you, or they're going to fill out a form. So that's where you want to send people all the time. Okay, I think that's our last question. So I am going to wrap this up, and I appreciate everybody being on the call. If you have any questions, you can call us at 888-404-1513, and Georgia or I will call you back. If you're a current client, you can use the support desk. You know how to do that. And I appreciate you all being on the call today, and we'll talk again next month. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.